Well, 5 people arrested following violent scenes at a Katlehong Primary School are set to appear in the Palm Ridge Magistrate's Court. The suspects were apprehended after Paseka Motsoeneng, otherwise known as Pastor Mboro, forcefully entered the school armed with a panga to apparently remove 2 children. Well, we begin our coverage with this story with Nqobile Madlala, who is in Katlehong, while Malungelo Booi is outside the court for us. But Nqobile, let's start with you. Where you stand. Yesterday morning at this time, a church stood behind you.
Yes, Naledi, a big one too, about 100 meters long. That's just how big that church was. It could accommodate over 1,000 people. And just in about an hour or so, it was burnt to the ashes that you see behind me. And this is what's left, Naledi. Some of the stuff that were inside, some of the clothing that you can see now, but also some of the envelopes. If you can just see, these are some of the envelopes that would be used for tithe. With still information of people that would be doing tithe within the church. These are some of the clothes that you would see from the church, which is believed to be from some of the people that would be coming to the church. Quite interestingly, it's a lot of kids' clothes that are now left here. Basically, charred, really. Nothing much left. But if you just look in this area, it's just completely dark. And what it was, Naledi, was there was a structure that was left in the area. And now that structure has also been demolished, which we knew it was a temporal structure that was basically used as a storage facility for some of stuff that the pastor would be using in terms of the candles, in terms of the salt that we saw on the ground that was used for some of the people that worked for the church. And of course, those are some of the things that would be used at the church, and now it's all gone. Just earlier on, we could see some of the people that were packing up what was left from the tent. What you see that they're pulling there is the remainder of what was in that facility storage that was now dismantled. Those people are now pulling just the side of the church, what covered the entire church, so that if there was maybe a cold weather, that they were able to cover the area or the tent. But basically, it's all gone. And what we understand is that this was burnt by some of the students that came from 7 different high schools in the area, where they decided that they felt, and just to quote what was being said, was that you can't be a thug in public and be a pastor during church. And this is what the students were saying, and therefore saying that what happened at the primary school was an injustice to the family. They were against the arresting of the maternal side of the family, which we understand at this point would be a granny and the uncle, which we are expecting to appear before the Palm Ridge Magistrate Court. And these pupils then came to this area and decided to basically burn it down. A stage that used to stand there is no longer there, completely burnt. Even the structures that was used, the material that we could see yesterday, no longer there. The entrance used to be on the right-hand side, and you can see the cement that was used in the past as basically the area which would be accommodating most likely the pastor or the important people where they would be sitting. None of that now, everything gone and just burned to ashes. And when we were here yesterday, Naledi, I must say that the people were very clear that they were protecting the children. What happened in the primary school was incorrect, and this is why there were people that were using this as a form of reflection, or as a form of sort of speaking back to what had been done to the family and the kids that we saw being taken or snatched away from school.
Quite the images that you're showing us there. Nqobile Madlala speaking to us live from Katlehong, where the Pastor Paseka Mboro's Incredible Happenings Church once stood, up until yesterday, when those students from 7 different schools, Nqobile says, descended on that church and burnt it to the ground. But our other reporter, Malungelo Booi, is outside the Palm Ridge Magistrate's Court following up on the story still. Malungelo, good morning to you. Talk to us about who will be appearing in court today.
Hi there, Naledi. Perhaps before we get into that, let's start here. You know, under normal circumstances, we wouldn't know who the people that are involved in this case, the grandparents, the identities of these children, even the name of the school of these children. Because according to the Children's Act of this country of 2005, it makes it clear, Naledi, in situations like this, everything possible must be done to protect those that are involved. Here we're talking about 2 minor children who have been caught really in this custody battle. And at the heart of it really, and one of the things that led to the situation getting out of hand and are the scenes that we saw on Monday at that primary school in Katlehong, where we saw this controversial and yet popular Pastor Mboro entering that school armed with a panga, accompanied by several people, and some of those people also armed, intimidating staff and threatening community members in that particular community, all in a bid of forcefully taking those 2 children. Now later I want you to know this. Those 2 children, we're told, were in grade R and another in grade 2. Police yesterday confirming to us that at least 5 people have been arrested. 4 were arrested on Monday evening and another person was arrested yesterday. We're told then that those suspects will be appearing here in the Palmbridge Magistrate's Court. They're facing a litany of charges. One of those charges, intimidation, as well as handling a firearm recklessly, as well as assault. What COSAS, in fact, was saying on this very channel yesterday, Naledi, was that they wanted more charges essentially to be added, because they're saying that they want a charge of intimidation, as well as just entering that school without permission to be added against the pastor and also some of the people that accompanied him. So we know then, Naledi, that today those 5 people will then be making their first court appearance here in the Palmbridge Magistrates Court. We have been told, Naledi, that several community members from Katlehong, especially those who feel aggrieved by what happened at that particular school, are expected to arrive here in court really to show support to the family of those children, but also to the school community.
Yeah. Malungelo Booi there, and of course, as we see the arrival of the 5 that are expected to appear in court today, he'll be keeping us updated throughout the day with Nqobile Madlala as well on the ground in Katlehong. But